starts now.
What up, though? It is another Thursday. This is Knockouts and Three Counts, and if you guys are following it all, you know Mitten Muay Thai 6 just went down last weekend. I got to be on the mic. Check it out. Check the replay on millions.co. But if you guys paid attention to our episode with Phil of Mitten Muay Thai, you know, one of the biggest things that we talked about was tonight's guest, and that would be one Dave Fio, who also happens to be from Taylor, just like I am. So we were getting to reminiscing about things about Taylor Tucky. But, you know, Dave, you are in a lot better place than I am right now because it's hot as shit in Michigan, but you're over in Florida, man. How you doing?
Oh, man, I'm out in Florida with the family. We are just sitting around the pool and playing a nice game of Uno, and things are good, man. Really living up the victory. Sunday, I leave tomorrow, and Sunday we're back to the grind.
Hell yeah. Well, first of all, what's the Uno strategy?
The Uno strategy is just give all the bad cards towards Ron because Ron really screwed me over on phase 10 last night. So or wait. I screwed Ron over on phase 10. Then Ron got me back on Uno today, and so I'm trying to get him back. I keep reversing away from him, and we're having a good time, man.
Hell yeah, dude. You love to see it. I love Florida, dude. It's been a minute since I've gotten to get out there, but I definitely plan on being back there. Dave, did we lose you? Uh-oh, hold on. Let's see if we got Dave back. Oh, shit. While we deal with some technical difficulties and get Dave back in here with us, man, I was so impressed with this dude because this guy, you know, if you paid attention to our episode with Phil, you know, he was training. He lost 130 pounds before the fight. The guy comes in, does the fight, does a full fight camp, is living over there with Phil, and then gets in there, fights the full 3 rounds of the fight, and gets himself a W in his first time inside of a combat sports ring of any kind, not just jiu-jitsu, not just boxing, kickboxing, you know, and goes into the Muay Thai fight, you know, and gets himself a W. So I was really impressed by that. Also, you had past guests of the show, James Barney, who we found out had quite the crazy time before he stepped into the Mitten Muay Thai ring the last time. And then you had, and he got himself a W as well over a tough Thai opponent. And then you had Mason Shalahi, who, like I said, is born, I think he's born for pro wrestling, but man, that guy's a born entertainer. The amount of trash that guy talks is only matched by the skill that he's got. What up, though, Cody? We're just trying to get Dave back in here. He's out in Florida right now. But yeah, dude, Mason Shalahi is one that we're going to have to get on the show soon. I know this Tuesday we're going to be doing a show with Caroline Rivera. I don't know if I said that correctly, but we're going to figure it out. She is your new champion. She won the title here in Detroit on the Clarissa Shields undercard. We're going to be talking about that. Could be a lot more coming from Salida Promotions. It looks like Dave's back.
There we go.
Oh, shit, he's back.
There we go. Hey, Mason Shalahi, born killer. The guy can't lose.
You're not wrong, dude. Like I was saying and giving kind of a little bit of a background to what happened in Mitten Muay Thai 6, man. Mason Shalahi is a guy I got to get on the show because I think he would be perfect in the world of pro wrestling.
Clickbait
like,
king.
For real, dude. Like, I mean, the guy got carried out on a fucking throne and shit again.
Yeah. The Persian prince.
Yeah, dude. I love it. Like I said, that kid is really good. Not just because of what he's able to do to like talk people into a fight, you know what I mean? But like he really got in there and showed his skills against a tough opponent. And, you know, talking to Phil about just the problem they had to get him a fight.
Yeah, and Mason's opponent backed out, and Mason took a new fight, and Mason's new guy really gave him a run for his money that Mason was not expecting. Mason's opponent was tough, man, because Mason gave him a proper ass whooping, and that dude did not back down.
He said a proper ass whooping. Yeah, dude. So did you stay and watch the rest of the fights?
Yeah, I did. I just was kind of like checked out though. Like these are all my teammates, you know, the main cards. So I tried to stay. I tried to watch, but I had so much adrenaline going still from my fight that I couldn't keep up with what was really happening. But I've been trying to watch back. I haven't got all the film yet. I've seen clips of I've seen clips of everybody, but I haven't got to watch fully through yet.
Yeah, man, it was a good time. Shout out to Josiah as well. We cover pro wrestling on this show as well, and I dug the fact that he came out to John Cena
Yeah.
for his entrance. I was like, yo, with him having his match at SummerSlam that night, I also want to give a shout out to everybody that was at our party at DraftKings in Troy for SummerSlam and all the people that walked away with belts and everything in memory of our guy Ken Brass. But speaking of that, man, you know, before we talk about the whole fight thing, obviously most people know you for what you can do behind a microphone singing. So talk to me a little bit about that, man. How'd you get into the world of singing? How long you've been singing for? And talk to me a little bit about the American Idol thing.
Dude, singing was just like so random for me. I was like, it was like my party trick turned like, hey, let's see what you can do in the studio. Turned that went really well. Turned basically put out some music and go to American Idol. It was like really fast and it was really cool. And I'm still going, dude. Like, I mean, I played, you know, the Taylor Fest, so I'm playing festivals and I'm playing shows like nonstop. But in the mix, I'm also training and fighting now.
Well, talk to me about that because I mean, singing and fighting couldn't really be much more further apart,
Yeah.
other than the obvious fact that you're performing in front of people. But like, you know, Phil was telling us a little bit about your journey to fighting. So before we get to the fight that you had last weekend, talk to me about, you know, your journey through this weight loss thing and how'd you find your way to Muay Thai?
Dude, you know, so I had just been singing and just doing my thing there, and I'd lost a lot of weight for American Idol, and then once I got kicked off American Idol, I kind of just didn't really feel motivated towards it anymore. But I had already lost like 100 pounds, so I lost like 120, but then I had like gained 20 back, and it's just not in the groove of it anymore. And I did a 75 hard, and then Phil, like being my best friend, like he knew that I was doing that 75 hard, and he hit me up randomly. I was like, "Why don't you come do it at the gym? Just do it through the gym. It'll help my new gym. It'll help you, and you know we'll go from there." And then after putting in that much work, you know, it was kind of like, I wonder if I could take a fight, and that was just like a little private conversation, and that came into, well, let's take a fight. Do it. Just take it. Commit to it right now. Do everything it takes to get there and win it. And that's just what we did. And coming into the fight, we had no clue. We had truly no clue what was going to happen. Like we thought, I mean, I could win, I could lose. We had no clue. And then to end up getting the win, it was just like a true, because I really did, I trained my absolute ass off, dude. I worked so hard every day, every night for months. And for that night to come around and to get the win was just like insane. And I'm fighting again now. So
That answered another one of my questions because I know you're new to our show, but I started with boxing. I got a purple belt in jiu-jitsu and trained Muay Thai and all those things myself. So going through a fight camp, you know, it really shows a person like what kind of resolve you have. Because I think you would agree now, having gone through a fight yourself, the the camp is worse than anything that happens in the ring.
dude, the fight is the celebration day. Camp sucks.
Absolutely.
I mean, my opponent, I mean, he hit a little, he hit hard, but you don't feel it in the fight. And it's nothing near what I've gotten rocked with in training for 4 days a week for the last 4 months, you know? Training is the hard part, and it just really brings the bitch out of you real fast. I mean, one day you go to a combat sports training for one day, and that you'll fight with your inner bitch that day. I promise you. So to fight that every day for 4 months, and to watch it get easier and to watch the hard things and the good things come in and out, it's like, dude, it's insane. And I'm just addicted to the feeling because I feel so good. I've never felt this good in my life. I feel strong. I feel fast. And like, we made funny videos about that. If anybody looks at my Instagram, we made funny videos like, I look strong, and then it's me hitting the pad real weak, and I feel fast, and it's me moving real slow, and like that's just real. It's satire, but I really do feel strong and fast, man. Like I've never felt like this in my life. I've been a fat kid since I was a kid, and so to go in there in a combat sport and not only compete but to win is like just mind blowing, and it's just a testament to the work we put in at Mitten Muay Thai Gym. Like it's that gym specific because my opponent, not to talk badly about him at all, because I mean you couldn't really wish for a better opponent. He was really humble. He was really nice. We really embraced this whole experience together. But he's been training for a while, a lot longer than me, and to get in there off 3 months of training and drop 50 pounds and win and have the kind of performance we want, where I won 3 rounds. I won all 3 rounds. There was a very big difference in the performance. Dude, that is a testament to Mitten Muay Thai Gym and Coach Nick. Coach Nick really just, there is a zero excuse policy at that gym. There is no excuse. If your left foot hurts, you're working on the right foot. Like that's just how it is there. There's no excuses, and everybody is expected to be a winner. And you train around champs, and when you train around champs and they beat the fuck out of you 4 days a week, you want to get better. It hurts when you get hit in the face by a champ, so it makes you get better, and it makes you get better fast. And put me in any other gym, I don't know if what happened could have happened. It's a true testament to Mitten Muay Thai Gym, a testament to me to be able to stick through it. But that gym put up with my bitching. They put up with me quitting. I quit for a week one time. They really put up with it all. They didn't give up on me, and they pushed into my head that you're a champ too, just as much as Josiah, just as much as Danny. You're a champ. You're a fighter. These are the guys you're training with, and you can be as good as they are. And dude, that carried me.
I can definitely relate, because for me, it was having cerebral palsy is why I got into fighting. My mom put me in a gym where I was totally white kid. I got my ass kicked for weeks until I fucking learned how to fight. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so, until you have, like you said, that first fight, and I'll never forget, had a kid kicking my ass for about a minute and a half of the round and made him miss. And then I finally got my first good shot of the fight. I mean, I hit him about as good as I've ever hit somebody. Like I felt my knuckles hit him through the glove and hit his chin. And he went from one end of the ring to the other, and I'm like, oh shit. Like kind of almost like kind of that pause, like, oh shit, I'm good over here.
I'm sorry.
You know what I mean? Like I'm good over here. And then you're like, oh shit, I need to jump on this dude. So like I said, I definitely can relate with that. And to your point, training with people like that are pushing you and are like, making you get those dog rounds in, that's what makes you more comfortable, because then if that guy can't live up to what you went through in the gym, well, then the fight already got easy.
That was a huge point. And that was like I remember one of my final thoughts before walking into the ring was, this guy cannot hit you as hard as Coach Nick has hit you, as hard as Josiah has hit you. We got a guy at our gym, Preston, hits like a fucking truck. As far, and Nikos, and like, there's 15 guys at my gym that can just rock my world with one land. I knew walking in that this guy cannot hit me as hard as that. So there's nothing's going to unexpectedly hit me today. And dude, I mean, I performed better in that fight than I've ever performed at training. I don't check kicks. I eat kicks. That's my defense for kicks, is to eat them. Dude, I checked probably 80% of the kicks that night. That was odd for me. That's not something I do. But just dude, you fall back to the level of your training. And thank God I've had great training.
Dude, I love to hear it, because, the last time Phil came on, it was like right before MMT Gym opened, before the last event. I've called, I think, all but 2 or 3 of the Mitten Muay Thai cards so far. And so to see the growth of it, just not only in like who's in the ring, but the production value and things like that, like the show that they did at Masonic Temple,
Yeah.
that was fire. And to get to do that, especially, I mean, being from Michigan, getting to work buildings like that, is cool, and it was a cool vibe to be in. But you answered, the next question, obviously, after that fight. First of all, what were your biggest takeaways from the fight? And you said you plan on continuing to train and you want to fight again. Like, what does that look like?
So Sunday, I took a week off. My family was all in Florida, and I couldn't come because of the fight night. And I wasn't gonna come. I was gonna jump right back into training. But after we got the win, I thought I'm gonna take a couple days off. I've been going for 4 months straight. I took a couple days off, dude. I've ate like a fat shit for the last couple days. I've drank. Um, I'm having a good time because come Sunday it's over again. And dude, like the biggest takeaways from this fight was the number one biggest takeaway was comfortability. Comfortability. Um, if you've never had a fight, you live in this realm of what if. What if, what if, what if? Well, what if nothing? I got in the ring and we did it, and it's not going to get more serious than that. And I'll also say that 90% of the fight is the walk to the ring. That is
Absolutely.
truly 90% of the fight. I've never shit my pants more than that 3 minutes. Ending the fight before mine, the walkout. I mean, I don't remember. I put so much thought into my walkout song, I don't even remember it playing. The first time I came to of consciousness was after I figured out I won the first round, and I'd realized that he had hit me a couple times and that they didn't hurt. That was the first time. And if you look back at the replays of the fight, that's when I look at the crowd and I walk back to the corner and I say, Coach, did I win? Did I win that round? And he goes, you won that round. And I directly look at the crowd and I flexed. And I hadn't really given the crowd much love before that because I was so nervous and freaking out. I didn't watch my intro video. Like, there was a lot going on.
It's better that you didn't, man, because it's better to be locked in. Well, speaking of you being a music guy, dude, so then you said all the thoughts you put into the walkout song. What were like the final three candidates?
For walkout song, it was
Yeah.
Hard Times by Baby Huey, Superstar by what I forget who it's by, but it's If You Are
Lupe
What You
Fiasco.
Say, Lupe
Yeah.
Fiasco, and then Diamonds by Rihanna. And I decided to go with Diamonds.
Oh my God. So it's funny you say that. One time, shout out to my guy, Anthony Scoops Fleming. I'll never forget. We were getting ready to walk out to his fight, and they went to go ask him what song he was going to pick. And he picked Rihanna, We Found Love in a Hopeless Place or whatever. And I'm like, bro, if you come out to this, you got to go out there and we got to win.
You got to win.
Or we got a fucking problem.
Rihanna's a statement song.
It is, though. And I just was like, he went out there and won, thankfully. But I just remember being like, you picked what?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Well, dude, before the fight, I was standing in the doorway and I was just like freaking out. And it was just me and my coach and some teammates and stuff and some like volunteers that I've trained with that were volunteering for the event, kind of ushering people towards the stage. And I was standing there and I was just panicking. And I went over and prayed with a lady named Raina from our gym. She's an older lady, dude. She shows up every single day and she busts her ass at training. And she doesn't competitively fight, but she really gives her all to it. And we had talked a few days before about praying with me before my fight, and I had never gotten over there to pray with her. But those split seconds before the fight, I seen her, and I was so panicked, I ran that way. And everyone was like, where are you going? Where are you going? And I sat on a chair, and Raina prayed with me, and I jumped up and went back, and I watched my opponent walk out first, and I was really panicked, and I looked at and then my opponent was like rapping and stuff, like rapping his song on the catwalk, and I looked at my coach. I didn't even look at him. I just said, he's too calm, because I couldn't even process putting words together right now. And he's rapping his song looking at the crowd. And that's when I thought, like, okay. I said, Coach, he's way too calm. And Coach didn't say anything, but he just kind of looked at me and gave me like a little half nod, And then when we get in the ring, he's staring at me and he's kind of got a little smirk on his face. And I'm looking at him with just the purest form of anger. because I'm thinking like the only way in our gym, the only way you win a fight is to be ready to kill and to die, and that is truly what we operate on in that gym. We practice safety and we practice this, but we're very conditioned to know that when it comes to this fight, it is do or die. And he was just very calm, very calm, and he's smirking at me, and I thought, I can't muster the energy to smirk back at you. Like I'm freaking out about this fucking fight. And then that bell dings, and it's like it's time, and then here I am landing overhands and checking kicks, and then after that first round I thought, we're good. He was too calm because I'm locked in right now, and it just showed in that first round.
And that's the funniest thing. Like, mind games can be like as big of a thing in a fight as anything you do in a ring. That's why, like, you'll see over the years, like, just people that come out with like this big character, or the guys that are like all up in somebody's face in a way.
The mind games are in your own head.
Mm-hmm.
The mind games come from your own head. The mental gymnastics. There's nothing that he's gonna do to throw me off kilter. I've been training for 4 months to keep in my own head. So mind games, that I think maybe that's a misinterpretation that I even believed in before doing a real fight, is mind games.
I'm just saying it's things that people will try, because I've seen people do some weird ass shit at weigh-ins and on the way out to the fight. And then you're right, for the vast majority, most of the time it doesn't ever really work. But speaking to the fight that you had last weekend, one thing that was really jumped out and was interesting to me was that your overhand right was like the main thing that you landed in that fight. And it was interesting that it was almost like once you started to connect, like once, twice, maybe even 3 times, where it almost started to freeze the guy, where like he wasn't really like firing off, and he just kept smiling. And I kind of remember saying on commentary, I was like, he's smiling and shaking his head no, but Dave's over here throwing and is more active. And I mean, I also have a judge's license in the state. So like, if I'm watching this fight as a judge, and I got one guy who, like you, who is throwing, big overhand rights, you might not be landing with every one of them, but you're hitting them with some of them, and you're just being more active overall than this dude who's just kind of just bouncing around and smiling. I mean, he threw a few punches here or there, but you were clearly more active. Like you said, you won 3 rounds to none. I mean, you were, and from my estimation and being there ringside, I mean, you were clearly the more active of the 2 guys in the ring. And to your point, all the smirking, all the extracurriculars, that he was trying, like, it didn't really seem to have any real effect.
No, to be honest, I never seen one of the smirks. Phil told me after. Phil was like, dude, if my opponent was smirking at me, I'd lay it on him. And I said, Phil, I didn't see him smirking. Everything went back to training.
Vision, bro.
I was staring at his chest, the entire fight. I never seen one smirk. When I watched the replay of the fight, obviously a lot of smirks. But what else do you do when you're getting just kind of outworked like that? I think my cardio was 2 to 3 times better than his, and that played a lot. I got in deep shit trouble by my coaches over that overhand right. The overhand right is not what won me the fight. It was those low kicks. I think those low kicks got me points. A couple of those overhands I think I got credit for landing, but they didn't actually land. They missed by an inch or 2, and they looked like they landed, but they were just but
that's what I mean, though, just in how you were being active. I agree. I think the leg kicks were the more effective of what you were throwing, especially with how much he was moving. I'm just saying that seemed to be like the go-to, because you threw the overhand right a lot, and in doing so, and your opponent is having to keep his hands up and know that you're throwing that big looping punch. Because what's different with catching a big looping punch is you don't know what angle it's going to come from, versus if you're punching straight down the pipe. If I'm punching straight down the pipe, you know where it's coming from, and you can almost kind of give yourself the blinders to try to block it. Versus an overhand, if you don't time it right, you could lean right into it and knock your own self out.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. The overall activity of what you were doing kind of messed with his rhythm.
If I would have thrown with more intention, If I would have thrown my punches with intention, I think that I would have knocked him out. But I threw a lot of in panic a lot. Like I want to punch him before he punches me, which caused me to miss by a few inches and stuff like that. But dude, it really came down to cardio. When you rewatch that fight, it's a lot of me. Even when he lands on me real hard, it's me just marching, and not.
Oh,
I
I
used to,
agree.
I used to head down, run forward. I'd throw my hands up and I'd run forward and I'd get the fuck beat out of me. With him, it was it seemed a little more relaxed and a little just like I'm just not tired right now.
I just feel like I mean, and I can't speak for your opponent, but from watching from the outside and being inside the ring myself, I really think that what he thought was, especially you being a guy who, it was highly talked about how you were on the weight loss journey and all these things. I think he just figured that by the end of maybe by the midpoint of the second round, that you were going to get tired, or the fact that maybe, like you said, he'd been training longer than you. He just, I don't want to say didn't take you seriously, but I think at some point, I think he thought your gas tank was going to go.
And it
And then
didn't. And I
that
could have
would be,
and I could have went 3 more rounds. And I think also when he felt power and he felt the stamina, I think maybe it was on top of the mental game that he was already proven wrong on, which is that he could kind of look over me, and then you see those things and you get hit hard a couple times. It really fucks your head up, especially mid-fight. And dude, that's why I give so much credit to the gym, because I mean, I'm just so ignorant to the sport in a whole. I mean, I'm getting better, but that was our biggest thing we worked on was cardio, 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 low kicks, overhand rights. That's all I worked on. And look what won the fight. Those 3 things. Cardio, overhand right, low kicks. That's all they were. And when I look back at the pictures, I was landing. I mean, I seen a picture of
your leg
the
kick
inside
slowed
of his
him down
thigh.
for sure.
The inside of his thigh was like purple. I landed inside kicks. I landed outside lows. I landed overhands. I landed a few jabs. They didn't look pretty, but I landed a couple jabs. He landed a couple jabs, but even after he landed, I still pushed. And that was something that he wasn't doing back.
So, with that being said, and what you learned and have taken away from that fight, were you before this? Did you watch UFC or any of that stuff at all?
I'm like a very big fight UFC watcher. Like
Okay.
I'll watch the big ones everyone's talking about. I don't follow it as a sport. I follow it as a social weekend event.
Mm-hmm.
Um Even now, and this is my thing with the whole fighting thing is my true love for it is coming from number one, the belief in myself and the proving of myself that I can do something that hard. And like the other love of it is yeah, it's really just it's about myself. It's really about myself and my team and learning the sport. I've never really been like a huge combat sports guy. I'm like a baseball football guy.
Okay.
Now that I'm getting more into it and I put so much of my time towards this, when I watch it now, it's different. I see it now. I
Mm-hmm.
used to watch it for fun and now I see it. And that's a huge difference.
It's
It's like
because you understand what's going on.
yes, it's the same reason I love baseball and football. You watch it and you know what's happening. And nobody knows what's happening in these combat sports. Not most people at least. If they really knew, if they went and trained for a little bit and tried to get ready for a fight and really got their ass beat by some guys that are better than them and can hit hard, they would realize the absolute freaks that these guys in the UFC are. I mean,
Oh, dude,
it's not normal.
I say this all the time. People talk all the time about being in a fight, but like, okay, it's one thing to say that you've been in a bunch of street fights, but now you can attest to this too. And I've said this on the show multiple times, and we've had multiple fighters say things along the same ilk. There's a difference between going and getting in a bunch of street fights with somebody and going and training for however long it is your fight camp, knowing that there's another human being that's training specifically to fight you and is
Yeah.
trying to fuck you up And if you have any type of weakness, any kind of anything that they notice, it's not, oh, I'm just gonna leave that alone. I'm trying to, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and people don't understand that. They don't understand like it's different than,
You
oh
take the
shit,
best
you
Street
spilled
Fighter
my
you've ever
drink.
met and put him up against an average amateur, and I would put my odds on the average amateur.
More often than not, unless you're talking about Kimbo.
Yeah, Kimbo's a different story.
Kimbo's the anomaly, but most situations you're 100% right.
Yeah, I was. It's funny, I haven't drank in like 4 months, and the last 2 days I've been putting them back. I'm in Florida. I'm with the family. I'm having a great time. I've been drinking, and today I was drinking. We went to SeaWorld, and I had a
I've
couple
seen
drinks
that.
before, and then I had a couple drinks there, and I was driving around, and I was talking to my cousin's boyfriend, and I said, I was a little corked up, and I said, dude, it's so crazy to look around here, and all I can think in my head is, I can beat the fuck out of you, I can beat the fuck out of you, I can beat the fuck out of you, because it truly is just different. Training with purpose is so much different than street fights, because what street fighters don't get is how often are you street fighting, right? Uh, say you're a really active street fighter and you're street fighting once a month. I'm doing it 4 times a week, 15 to 20 times a day. I'm getting 60 rounds of hard sparring in a week. Like you're getting one half-ass drunken round in a month. They're just completely different worlds. Completely
Not to
different worlds.
mention, not to mention, you talk about that. Like, here's the other thing. Again, you're sparring with people. Like, I'll never forget. I had a buddy of mine, or here's a better part. I've also trained MMA, and like I said, I got a purple belt in jiu-jitsu. 90% of people panic as soon as the fight goes to the ground. Like, as soon as the fight hits the ground, people panic like it's a fish out of water or some shit. You know what I mean? And so it's just that's always been a funny one to me. I remember our co-host Corey. We were in his basement. We were like 16. Caught my buddy in an armbar, and my boy's dad was like, "Oh shit, I guess you guys can't play around no more." But to your point, like I caught him easy, and you're just sitting there like, dude, you know what I mean? Like there's that saying, there's levels to this shit. When you're putting in the time like you did, um, it shows. So I'll let you get up out of here on this, man. I appreciate your time and all that good stuff. But we also are a pro wrestling show, so you got to tell me, do you get down with the pro wrestling at all?
Dude, I did a show, and I was like a guest commentator for my boy Dakota in Lincoln Park, who he was battling cancer for a really long
Dakota Luna,
time.
right?
Yeah, Dakota,
Yep.
and he passed away, and yeah, man, man, Dakota's just a solid dude, man, and I'd never really been interested in that wrestling realm. I wasn't really too into it as a kid, and as an adult, Dakota had asked me to come out a few times to his events, and I wasn't able to make it. But the second that I was able to make it, I went. And he ended up passing away like 4 weeks after. But dude, we did it up. He gave me a walkout, and I took my first acoustic guitar that I've ever bought. The first guitar I've ever owned, and everyone knew me there as the music guy, and I came out to my walkout song, and I took that guitar and I just smashed it to hell, smashed it to a million pieces, and I signed the back of it for him so he could hang it up in his man cave because it was epic, dude. And dude, that was the first time that I had gotten into it, and I had so much fun that night, dude. It is really cool because you get this you get this amateur league of dudes who are doing really cool shit for no reason. They have no benefit to be doing it. They're not making much money. They're just there to put on a show. And it was truly just such an amazing experience, man. And rest in peace, Dakota, man. He really just built a really cool thing there. And they're continuing it on in his name. And I can't wait to get out to another show. But yes, very, very much for the pro wrestling scene.
Hell yeah, man. You got to love it. It gives you a little bit of everything. You get the fighting side of it, you get the entertainment side to it. And I was telling Phil, like leading up to your fight, I was like, man, that was the cool part to the card with Mitten Muay Thai 6 is like, you know, the good part of a good wrestling card is when you have like a match or a story or whatever that kind of appeals to everybody. So like whether like if you look at WWE right now, how you have guys like Logan Paul and Jelly Roll, right? So that's like your mainstream fan. And then you got, obviously your diehards like, Seth Rollins, all that kind of stuff. You have a little bit of everything. In that fight, they had you, who maybe they know you from American Idol, whatever it might be. What is this guy going to do? Then you got a guy like Josiah, who, was former world champ in multiple different spots. There's your diehard guy. The best part about a card is when you can get something for everybody. I feel like that's what Mitten Muay Thai 6 brought to us. And now that you told me that you're into the wrestling world, dude, and you're in my area, we'll definitely have to figure something out soon because we're always at different shows. Shout out to our guy Darren McCarty. Maybe I'll take you down to one of the shows we go to with D-Mac.
Yeah, let me know, man. I'd love to.
Hell yeah, man. Well, I will let you get out of here. If you got anywhere you want people to follow you on social media and all that good stuff, let them know. And like I said, all of you guys who are watching, says we got about 200 people in here. We appreciate you guys. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, the like button, the share button, all the buttons. And, we're always looking for sponsors, so make sure you do that too. But if you've got anywhere that they can check your music out, merch, all that good stuff, let them know.
You guys can look me up at Dave Fio Music, Dave Fio Music on Instagram. If you want to look up my music, it's Dave Fio, Dave Fio. Figure it out is what the Fio stands for. And yeah, Dave Fio Music on Instagram, Dave Fio on Instagram and Apple Music. And yeah, it was really great talking to you, man. Thanks for having me.
Hey, man, thanks for taking the time, especially with you being on vacation. Hopefully it wasn't too painless. And for everybody that's watching us usually on your regular Tuesdays and Thursdays, make sure you check us out this Tuesday as we have your new WBC champ, Caroline Vieira from Canada, is going to be checking in this Tuesday. We're going to talk about what went down here in Detroit on the Clarissa Shields fight. And a little birdie told me that there might be more to come where that goes. And next weekend, you got the Motor City Wrestling Expo going down. I'm doing a panel with the fucking Brooklyn Brawler. I'll also be interviewing Teddy Long and Ron Simmons and the Godfather, all kinds of shit. Make sure you come down, come check that out. New Baltimore, Michigan, next Saturday and Sunday. Come check your boy out. In the meantime and in between time, we appreciate you. Peace.